Hello, everybody. Hello, Drunkduckers. This is Ozone Ocean, and with me is Tant and Baines.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Tant and Baines.
Tant and Baines. That was very good, Seinfeld.
To me, it just sounded like Franks and Beans.
All right, welcome to the Quackcast.
Hello, hello, hello.
The leader of the pack.
Today we are talking about why do you want to rule the world? We know you want to do it, but why do you want to do it? Why do characters in stories want to rule the world? It's usually the bad guys, pretty much always the bad guys. But, I mean, not always. But what is the point? Why is there a drive to do this thing? So we're going to talk about that. It's an interesting little topic. And that will be our particular subject. And we'll try not to bring up too many real world examples. But if we do, we do. Gotta bear with us because, we're people of the world. But yeah, we'll try and keep it to fiction for this. Although if you do want to have the real world version, have a look at our Patreon video where we go full balls to the wall. We just go crazy.
Yeah.
But it wasn't all that crazy, was it? Maybe. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
it was crazy.
It was mad. We were greased up. We were just going for it. So before I just go on and on and on and like dig myself a grave here, I'm going to bring up the featured comic. Featured comic this week was a feature that I featured called Olympian Heights. So I'm going to talk about the Olympian Heights now. Hello, I'm Ozone Ocean, and my feature for the week was Olympian Heights. Superheroes are pretty amazing people with awesome powers and abilities beyond normal humans. But they are still normal humans, actually. At least the ones in Olympian Heights. They have normal hopes and dreams, passions, crushes, moments of weakness, and hesitations. And yet they try to make the right calls anyway and be the good guys to the best of their ability, despite their normal human feelings. And that is what makes them heroes. Olympian Heights is set to be a cool collection of stories about these superheroes and their city, capturing odd aspects of their lives and motivations rather than just following missions. The art is realistic, black and white with some aspects of color. The story is a superhero drama with comedy. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this. There's a bit to laugh, bit to laugh along with, but also there's the passion and the drama to get into, when sort of stakes are high and we've got some tension between different characters for different reasons. It's all a bit of fun rather than just following, straight out missions like a superhero story often does, capture this guy because of this, because of that. It's there's underlying romantic tension between these two characters, that kind of thing. So it's definitely a fun little read, yeah, with some, like I said, a little bit of romance as well. So enjoy Olympian Heights. This is a comic by The Dearly Departed, and it's rated M for mature. So, this music, it's creepy, it's brooding, it's building, it's exciting, it's evocative. Something exciting and interesting is about to happen to begin. This is a slow measured dance that's leading to something big. Take it away, Gumbos, with your theme to Degrengolada. that was the theme to Degrengolada, which is an interesting comic by Paulie Blade, and it's rated A for adult. So beware when you check that out. I haven't had a look at the comic, but I saw the thumbnail. It looks fantastic. It's probably really cool, but I don't know how adult it is. So yeah. Tread with care. Okay, so now we're talking about why do you want to rule the world? Why? You know what? Like, thinking of this subject, this is interesting. Like, when I started at Drunkduck, I was a comic artist, way back in, I think I first started in 2003, didn't post my comics until 2004. My God, that's over 20 years ago. So I started there, and eventually I was like, oh my God, this is a fun community. I'm enjoying this. I love it. There was a really active forum thing happening, and, I was like a really active participant on the forums too, with all the debates and stuff like that. And then I wanted a bit more responsibility. So I made friends with people, and I got myself made a moderator. That was pretty cool. And yeah, and I started getting even more involved in the community, helping out. And eventually, like, Drunkduck got, like, there was weird stuff. It got bought out by Platinum. All this weird stuff was happening, and they had to have a lot more responsibility, a lot more there were more stakes involved. So we really had to make sure the site was running properly, because I had way more people, way more active. And, things happen, and I got made an admin, which was amazing. So I was like one of the few people in charge of the entire site. So, like, the person who was always in charge, like the ruler of the world, was Vault 6, Dylan Squires, because he created the site. So he was the ruler. And us admins, we were like his little lieutenants. But, like, through all that, my major concern was wanting the site to run well, and wanting the people who came to the site to enjoy the same level of, interactivity and usability they've always had, and that I wanted for my own comics. So it was like, I love having my comic on this site. I want it to keep running, and I want the same thing for everybody else as well. I want them to be able to enjoy the site and their comics, and to them to get visitors and views and comments, and us all to have a good time. And, things happened, and, stuff with Platinum and WoW turning into WoWio and all this bullshit. Eventually it was just me and School Monkey who were in charge of the site. No one else. And so we were like the co-rulers of the world. And then the site, died and got resurrected. And even before that, I was the sole person in charge of the whole thing. But through all that, I was never thinking, geez, I'd love to rule this site. I'd love to be the boss. It was my feeling was always that I want things to run well, and, I'm the only one here to do it. Like, I was the only one left in that position. So I never wanted to be the boss of the site. I just wanted it to run. And, since then, I brought in other people as my admins, these lovely people here on the Quackcast as an admin. But I'm not really the boss of the site, in that, I want to be the ruler. It's just I'm just here keeping it running, and these great people are also helping me keep it running. So I think that can be a motivation for someone to be in charge of something. They can just want it to be, they just want it to run. They don't want power so much as they just want the thing to be, to go well. They just wanted to continue it, and they're the only ones left to be able to do it, So sometimes it can be as simple as that, and other people can interpret their rise to that position as being, that grasping person, it'd be so much better if they weren't in charge anymore, or, they're making bad decisions or whatever. But through it all, their motivation doesn't have to be a grasping kind of thing. So that's a different perspective. But okay, so okay.
You know what though? I don't think, for example, you are in charge of the duck, and you own the duck, like you are the king of the duck, the emperor. However, you don't want to expand and take over all the other webcomic sites.
That's an idea.
Like, oh, I'm gonna expand and aggressively take over Comic Fury and Webtoon and whatever tapas or whatever else that is there out there.
We need
Oh my
spies.
God.
We need.
Yes,
We need
yes.
saboteurs.
So yeah, but what I want to say as an example of this is that you ended up in this position because there was very specific need, a need that had to be met, and you were at the right place at the right time, and you're also wanted to offer service rather than gain something. Like all the time that you were talking about how you ended up in that position, I was trying to think of how I ended up in being, a member of the cabinet. And
Yeah,
I
so
only-
actually, possibly a designated successor. Who knows?
oh my God.
And Tansa sitting there with a knife behind her back. Yes, indeed.
No. Like
Paige has got poison in her ring going. You think so? You think she's going to be the ruler? I don't know. Yes.
And I honestly, I'm racking my brains to remember exactly how this happened. I think that there was a need for articles to be written every week for Saturday. And you asked me, or some, I don't remember exactly, to be honest, how that happened. And it went from there, and more needs started springing up that I felt I could reasonably meet. And sometimes when life over here becomes crazy, I drop the ball, like for example, with my interviews and stuff. I'm so sorry, I'll pick it back up. Small parenthesis. But again, it's from a motivation of wanting to offer without really gain. Like we don't really have any bragging rights for anything, do we? Yeah, we offer and we enjoy. What we take from this is the gratification that we are contributing to something that people find constructive and pleasant and something worthwhile. That's the what is in it for us, at least for me.
Yeah.
And I think for you too, and for Baines. Baines, correct me if I'm wrong. if you are sitting.
Oh, sounds great.
So yeah, we're not sitting like. Just think, Oz, if you had to also manage Comic Fury and Tapas and Webtoon, the way you do the duck.
I'd give up. I'd go, okay, I'm not going to be doing anything anymore. I'd just go, yeah.
It's like, I did everything, bye.
Exactly. Rage quit.
And that's the big difference. Like, you are not taking over the world over this.
And I would say also on the other hand, or maybe, I don't know, this is the reverse of that. You're also not trying to control the people on the dock and how they do their comics and what they say and how that behavior goes. There's freedom on that side as well, underneath you, if you will. And yeah, also not looking to expand and take over other sites.
It's more fun if people have their own voice for things. Back in the day, like we had a lot of dicks on the site being obstreperous and causing trouble with other people, and we did want to control people in that we wanted people not to be dicks, and we wanted people to be like to calm down and provide good experience so everybody can be expressive. So yeah, like from that point of view, we did. But it was only so everybody else could be free, So that's a weird kind of a contradiction, isn't it? That
It's like the paradox of the tolerance, the intolerance of tolerance, in the sense that in order to have a tolerant space where everyone can be themselves and experiment and find the creativity and enjoy themselves and all of that, you have to not be tolerant of those that would try to harm people and stop from doing this. So yeah, we are going to be intolerant of these types.
Right.
In order for the majority to be to have their freedom, because the freedom of the community outweighs, the freedom of an individual who wants to mess that up for everybody else. That's a bad way of saying it, but it's a way of saying it.
I would even venture to say that being distracted is not a freedom. You are not entitled to be distracted, in my opinion. This is not a right, and this is not a freedom. Period. You are free to express yourself, but you are not free to be distracted to others. And that is a balance and a nuance that I think people should be taught from a very early age so that we don't end up with problems like we have.
Yeah.
This
Like the main term is antisocial behavior, which it really is.
yes, exactly.
Right.
But let's bring this back to fiction. Why do people want to rule the world? Usually it's bad guys, bad girls, bad people in stories. They want to be the boss. Why? Like bad girls. Like thinking about a good example. I was watching Willow the other day. Rewatching Willow, lovely film. Queen Bavmorda, I think she's called, the baddie.
I love. Yeah.
Why does she want to be the queen of everything? Why? She does. There doesn't seem to be any particular reason for that.
I think it's not that. I think that if I remember right, because I used to watch that movie to the point that the VHS wore down. She had this prophecy that the baby born would threaten her rule.
Yeah, it was basically the Snow White kind of prophecy.
Yeah, and the thing is, she was protecting what she already had. So that was her motivation. She wasn't expanding. Like she wasn't taking over the world, unless we want to say that she already had the world.
No, she didn't, because she was invading all the surrounding kingdoms and taking them over and killing all the villages and stuff like that. So, so she hadn't ruled the world already, but yeah, she was taking over. Like you said, to ensure there wasn't a little baby to take over. So she was protecting herself. Yeah, but yeah.
I think
Sure.
That's probably a pretty common motivator for someone with power.
I think in fiction, the motivations are not dot for dot, as in reality. I think that often the why, like why do you want to take over the world, is not even explored. It's just a given.
That's why this Quackcast exists. Because we want to know why in fiction characters want to take over the world.
Yeah, but I'd say evil is associated with greed, and so a bad guy will probably not be satiated with whatever they already have. So they want more. So if they are a ruler, they will want more. I think it's more on that principle rather than stuff I mentioned in the audio in the video.
I don't know. There's ones who want for greed. There's ones like, because a typical baddie in a lot of fiction, especially fantasy fiction, is just someone who's, I'm the king of the evil empire of death, and I want to take over the world. And you think, okay, what, do you want to kill everybody? Is that your motivation? Like, is like just killing everyone so important to you? And why would that be a thing? That seems rather like limited and silly. Skeletor, something like that, you know? Why does he want to rule over all Eternia? There's no logic to it at all. He doesn't care about money because he can take whatever he wants anyway. He just wants to be in charge. Does he want power?
He wants power. We don't really get to see why or like how, like to what end or why or anything. It's kind of like the Emperor, right? Skeletor and the Emperor in Star Wars.
The Emperor, I think, is a little bit, from Star Wars, is a little bit closer to reality in that he definitely wants power, and he seems to be very much like a dictator we would expect in real life to a point. So he seeks to have power over, the galaxy or whatever, the planets, and he basically rules over those. I would not be surprised if he was basically sapping all the assets and resources from all these planets. I try to remember, like, Leia's parents, what they were doing, and how they got on his bad side. I think they were refusing something like that.
Leia's parents were, I mean, if you go by the prequels, that's Darth Vader as a parent and Amidala.
Yeah, the ones that raised
okay. In the proper trilogy,
the Organa family, whatever, the royals that raised her. I think that was more or less the reason, right? That they were not basically bending the knee and giving the emperor what he wanted. So, by that assumption, he wants to rule the world because having absolute power means that he can basically exploit what there is to exploit.
I mean, Star Wars is a thing where I don't really see it as logically myself. Like, they have they're basically space Nazis.
Yeah.
They want to take over the world. They've got this lovely, their fantastic empire, great technology, their outfits cool, everything like that. And they just want to stamp out the rebellion because they want to rule over all the planets. Just because they want to rule over all the planets. We need to organize everything. We need to like to be in charge of everything and to spread out administration. We just want to turn the whole world into a big administrative center, and that's our thing. Like, underleaders and underleaders, everybody, like, levels of bureaucracy across the galaxy. That's what we want.
Exactly.
Jafar. Remember Jafar?
Okay, all right. I haven't watched that film, so you'll have to enlighten me. I played the video game, but
you haven't seen the animated? Really? Wow.
I have not. Right. I mean, I've seen. He's like the leader of the kingdom, or the bad wizard or something.
No, he's like a wizard. And sort of the wizard advisor to the Sultan. And then the Sultan's daughter is Jasmine, and then a peasant is Aladdin. Aladdin and Jasmine fall in love and stuff like that. And Jafar is the villain. He's seeking power, but he works for the kind of goofy, kindly Sultan. And his whole thing is gaining power. Of course, Genie has ultimate power. So Aladdin finds the genie. Jafar is looking for the genie's lamp. Aladdin gets it, and then at the end you see an escalation of Jafar's power, just more and more power. That's all he wants. To just to rule, I guess. It's a very everything of Aladdin is very clear.
Yeah. He wants to rule for his own sake.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I remember that once upon a time I used to know the entire script of that movie. That's how.
Including Gilbert Gottfried's parrot character.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm going to have from that purpose. He was saying, Jafar, while talking to Parrot at some point in the beginning, that he was very incensed at the fact that the Sultan was basically an idiot. And he got to rule, whereas Jafar, was like this distinguished, clever person. And he felt that it was unfair for him to be the underling to this buffoon.
Okay.
Right.
So that's
Bit
how
of
he
narcissism there.
Yeah, and also, like the Sultan is an idiot, like there's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
So there's also that. And yeah.
I was just going to say, I had this excellent book about the Sultan of Jodhpur, I think it was. It's a cool book. He was this, the Indian Sultanate, and it was about him from his birth until his old age, and it was cool. And it had this great photo of him as a little boy and his teachers. Who were sort of in charge of, helping, like raising him and stuff like that. And they looked like something out of a Disney movie. So here's him, this plucky little lad, with his turban and stuff like that. And one of his teachers is big fat fellow, I haven't seen the animation, but I've seen clips and stuff like that. He looked like the Sultan, big fat fellow like this. And the other teacher was this guy who's really tall and skinny and hunched over like this. Looked exactly like that Jafar guy, the vizier. It was amazing. So those characters exist in reality. That was
Yeah. So since we went down that road, also going to mention Mulan, the Hans that are attacking. The leader, I don't know why I never remember his name. The little Han that is attacking.
I haven't seen Mulan. I want to see it.
Yeah, Mulan is great. Like the animation is great. The movie is not great.
That's what I hear.
Yeah. The animation is very disappointing for many years, but I guess. So in the animation, when eventually the Han guy, bad guy, enters the palace and confronts the emperor of China, he says, "You built a giant wall. You invited me here. You basically invited me here. I had to answer that this giant wall does not make me weak."
Oh, okay. It was a challenge to him.
Yeah. So in that respect, you could also have that certain taking over the world challenges are to prove strength, which is also something that happens in real life.
With certain people, yes.
Yeah.
I wonder who that could be. Oh, I won't say anything. Yes. Challenges, yes. Very true.
How about in our web courses? What are there? Like not that like it's the bad guys, Hitler. We know the motivations there. But in your web course, guys, what are do you have anyone wanting to take over the world?
I don't really go to that level in PGTA because I've got people in the kind of the mid-level of a war, but I don't really talk about, at the very top level, like motivations and stuff like that. These are just people stuck in the mechanics of it. So as far as these people know, it's just about maintaining the supremacy of our country against other countries so we don't, get destroyed pretty much. It's that kind of common feeling of the normal person. They just, that kind of nationalism, because that's a common thing all over the world. Like every single person, no matter what you identify as, tends to have a little bit of nationalism. We are a great country. We're the best country, or we should be. And we want to keep ourselves, free against other countries. So that's something that's involved in my comic, but I don't really go on to motivations of the top level, no. And bottomless waitress, well, basically they just want everybody to be bottomless. That's the thing.
Exactly. Bottomless?
I don't think so. There's no money in that. Everyone's bottomless.
It'll be a bottomless utopia, Baines. What are you talking about?
Well, then our time will go under because everywhere.
It'll be perfect. The only one who'd be upset is Ava. What Ava's done. So, what about you?
I don't have that. Yeah, I don't have it in my comics, unless there's something I'm missing. I had a mafia boss type in one story, only one story.
What about Kaiju Valentine? There's obviously something happening there.
In Kaiju Valentine, there's something happening there. We don't really know what yet. It's kind of happening in the background. The specifics are coming later, but I don't think there's a one rule of the world thing at the center of it. I don't think.
So we're all smart writers. We're not dicks like overachieving. We're not pretending to overachieve.
I
am going to something if I ever get there. Sorry.
No, you go.
If I ever get there, it's about a villain. He's the main character, and there will be sort of dynamics like that of wanting to rule the world, wanting to save the world, a bigger part of it. It's not ready yet.
There you go.
So we'll see how the motivations will go if and when I do this.
Well, I mean, in Verdant, obviously, there's very much, because we've got gods in that story, and very high-level people, so that's obviously there's a bit of the world sort of thing.
Yeah, there is, and that's what I was going to say. We haven't yet met. Sorry, the cat.
Cat wants to rule the world. Cornelius wants to be emperor of the house.
Always. He has this knack for jumping on my balls for attention these days, and I know how to train it out of him because I give him attention because the people is important. So anyway,
he's training you, Thomas.
I know. Look at his face. That's
it's a cute fat face.
We haven't yet met the actual villain. I have a lot of villains scattered across the board, but there is this one big villain that we haven't yet met that does want to not rule the world as much as basically destroy it, like destroy the world. And
really?
Yeah. In a couple of pages, we're going to get the first real hint of it. Not this page, the next page is where he appears for the first time in a way, in an avatar. Let's put it like that. So, but the reason this being wants to destroy the world is basically explainable, quote unquote, in the sense that it is a thing that constantly requires energy, and destroying the world would be converting this world into the world into energy for this being. To counter. Okay, this is it's not a spoiler because it's going to be revealed relatively soon. and it's part of the whole struggle. So it wants to get all this energy to be able to fight the guts that we haven't met yet either. So there's that. So I do have a rule the world, conquer the world character that we're going to meet. So, yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Well, it looks like you're doing it in a smart, kind of clever way.
Thank you. I hope I don't pressure.
Yeah, too often people sort of just they'd leave it too much to the audience about what the motivations are or what the possible reasons for character action is, which is very we can't do all the work for you, basically, as audience, as viewers, readers or whatever. We can't do all the work for you. Like we can do a bit of it, and yeah, sure, we should be expected to do a bit of the work. An author doesn't have to write all character motivations, and they don't have to write every single detail of the world, but the reasons for the villains taking over the world is one of the things that is the author responsibility, not the viewers, not the audience responsibility.
Yeah. I absolutely agree with that. Also, I wouldn't be able to be at ease with my own cast if I didn't know why they were doing things. So I really need to know why they are doing what they're doing.
I mean, it's not all the time. Sometimes you can be, like, say, with my story. Oh, with my story, I don't have to. But what I mean is, when you're at a low level, the characters might not necessarily know the high level stuff. But if you are showing the high level stuff, then you should. Anyway, sorry, Towns.
No, I agree. It's just that I have advice, and also I guess it is a blessing and curse for me as a creator of stories, whether in novels or in webcomics and stuff. I absolutely need to know everything about my characters.
Yeah.
And that is often very bad for me. But on the flip side, I also don't have any issues worrying what they're going to do, because I know more what they're going to do, even when I hate it eventually it happens. So yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a good kind of feeling to have, because it helps you more easily work out plot points and story directions and stuff like that if you know more about your characters. Whereas, if you don't, then you can easily get stuck because you don't really know your characters very well. So you can think, oh God, what will people do now? I don't know. Get out of this. I've got no idea. Yeah. But if you do know what a character sort of thinks like and feels like and wants, then that makes it so much easier, because this character wants to be with that character. This character wants this so it's things sort of just automatically fit together. So it makes it so much easier. But baddies. I'm trying to think of other examples of baddies that want to take over the world. One of my favorites is Thulsa Doom from Conan the Barbarian, the 1982. I think it's 1982. Fantasy barbarian film, the first good fantasy barbarian film ever. And probably the last. But that's freaking awesome. But that guy, he wants to take over the world because he's like a sort of a demigod. He's a cult leader. But he wants to take over the world for a cult leader kind of interest, because I think he is based on like classic American cult leaders, the way the writers, I think, not Basil Polidorus, he was the musician behind it. No, so the director was can't remember, some mad guy, and one of the original.
I'm trying to remember his name. John Milius.
You are precisely correct. And the original writer was Oliver Stone. So the writer.
I think I heard that. Yeah. Wow.
Oliver Stone and John Milius. And Oliver Stone originally made it a lot more fantasy, but John Milius took it to reality again. He kind of changed the script to make it more sort of based on the real world. And yeah, like the Thulsa Doom is sort of basically that John Jones, whatever cult leaders there around at that time. What was the famous one? The Helter Skelter guy. I can't remember. Who knows? The most famous cult leader in American history, and we can't remember it because we're idiots. Charles Manson. Charles Manson. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So Thulsa Doom has their kind of crazy leadership aspirations because he wants to control people. He doesn't want to control the world so much, like physical world. He wants to control all the people in the world because he wants to make them do whatever he wants to do because he has this kind of... It's never really... I mean, he is a demigod in the story because he can change into a giant snake.
Mm-hmm.
So he does have magical powers. But he really is that kind of like cult leader in a kind of, you know, more kind of human, realistic kind of factor. And he wants to rule over the people because he wants to make them do things. Because he just wants to be in charge. He wants that kind of physical power over other humans. And that's his goal over the world. And it's very good in that, you know, of course that's a pretty limited thing, and no real leader of the world really wants that kind of thing. Like, but a cult leader, like someone who's insane, someone who's a bit off the wall, that would be fine for them, and that character is. So that works for that story.
I would argue that considering the principles propaganda in general, there is at least a good degree of wanting to control people's minds. You know, if the propaganda is good enough, they will come to you and they will follow you, and you will control them with that propaganda. That is a thing.
But why do you want to control them with your propaganda? You know, what's
because they give you power, they give you money. You know, if you have people at your beck and call, they will give you resources. They give you sex, whatever. Depending on what that you're after. Like it's not a surprise that all the leaders are also like harem of some. So.
Yeah. Man, that would be a great spin on those bloody animes where everybody always develops a harem. Oh, I'm interacting in the world with people and and all the people that, you know, I happen to get as friends and follow me all happen to love me and all happen to be women. That's just a coincidence. Yeah, it'd be good if the twist was they happen to be a cult leader and they're deliberately like cultivating.
I would like that. That would be harem.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, so like you think it's just a chance that these women are following him, and then like halfway in the series or whatever, it turns out it's all going exactly to my plan. I will add this one.
Yeah, and they get like small hits even from something slightly like. Step
exactly.
Wide.
The character says,
"Yeah.
I know you have to go back to your family, but wouldn't it be great if my group was your new family? You don't need your actual family anymore because we're your family now." You know, that kind of thing. Like one of the principles of culthood is you have to like get rid of people who are close to you because they're your new group.
Yeah. Or get them to subtly distance themselves from all their friends, and they can see him be very timing. They never have time for friends anymore. It's weird.
Yeah. Exactly how their friends react. Hey, we used to be great friends. We used to hang out here every day. What's up with you? Like, I'm sorry, I can't hang out with you anymore, for reasons. That would be so cool.
Not forbidden. I can't hand out with that would make whatever his name is very sorry. And he's too good a man to make him sorry. Bye bye.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In
there has to be.
the most slightly silly way to
What were you going to say, Baines? I thought we.
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Don't apologize.
Yeah.
Well, okay, go.
No, another good bad guy motivator for the world was in Matrix. The first Matrix, the only one that exists. Because the machines won't take over the world so that they could power themselves. There was
In a really inefficient way.
Yeah.
in the most efficient way possible. I chose the original motivator that they had in the script was to make connect one gigantic supercomputer for their purposes, like for computing power, which would be a lot more interesting than batteries. But still.
Potatoes in jars. But yeah, that would be a much more interesting idea. Oh yeah, the last, not the last, but a movie I watched the other day was the Barbie movie, which is an interesting example. Like, Barbie doesn't want to take over the world, no, but Ken wants to take over the Barbie's world when he discovers patriarchy, when he goes to the real world and he goes back to the Barbie world and thinks, oh, I could be in charge now. And then the Barbies retake over the world by, like, defeating the patriarchy and basically just replacing the patriarchy with their own kind of patriarchy. Basically. Barbiarchy, yeah, exactly. It's really like, oh my god, the messages in this film are so toxic and it just doesn't understand itself. It's just so. It's a beautiful looking film, fantastic music, it's really fun. I love the actors, they're all cool, but the philosophy in the movie is just, it doesn't understand what it's talking about, and it's toxic. It's dumb.
Yeah.
But
I haven't seen the movie, but I heard critics say, reviewers say that it was kind of a deconstruction of feminism, maybe accidentally, because as you're saying, the Barbies don't come out well if you're really paying attention.
It's a dumbass's deconstruction of it. Yeah, it's like an accidental deconstruction of it, but by a dumbass. Because feminism is greater than what this film portrays. Feminism is cool. This film portrays this idiot's version of feminism.
Right,
you know?
right. Yeah, exactly. I think they were saying a certain type of. I should say. I don't know.
Oh, it's fair enough to say. Yeah,
you're right.
It's like a beginner's version of feminism, basically.
It's not even a beginner's version of feminism. It's a feminism by someone who doesn't understand feminism. Like whoever wrote the script doesn't understand.
Instagrammer's version of feminism.
It's a meme. From possibly the manuscript.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's that kind of benign. It's like benign racism or benign sexism. It's like, yeah, like, wouldn't it be great if women were in charge? We'd have no wars and anything. It's like, oh my god, you're just sexist. You're pretending not to be sexist, but you're being sexist because you're imagining that women are, like, not human, like anyone else. No, like these perfect people. They're human. Everybody. It's not going to be a perfect world. You idiot.
And they have also never understood where they so like violence and tendencies of control and taking over stuff is as prevalent in men as it is in women. And the only difference, like there is no other difference. The only difference is in the way it manifests. And that is a direct relation, in a direct relationship to the culture being studied within the study and what is being quote unquote allowed. But the aggression equal level. And because especially in women, it's supposed to be suppressed, girls are supposed to be aggressive, they can be a lot more, shall we say, efficient their aggression, in the sense that they are a lot more positive when they want to be aggressive, because they have their hand about.
Yeah, like you say, that's a cultural thing. It's not an inbuilt thing because of like genetics or gender or something like that. It's because that's what you're forced to do by your culture or your influence to do. Yeah, so that was why one of the things, women would kill people by poison more typically, and men would use more direct methods like shooting or stabbing or something like that. It's just because culturally that was a thing that was easier to do.
Yeah, and physically, what are the chances that you can successfully overpower a man fighting? And you are a woman, and probably half the guy's weight and height. So of course, it's your friend. If you want to tell him.
Famously so, yes. But yeah,
do not. This was not an endorsement. So.
Yes. But it is.
You make me realize. Oh, sorry.
No. Go.
I just not to bring it all the way back to me, but I realized that in Kaiju Valentine there is that thing going on in two worlds, and there was talk about attacking the other. It's the human-sized people and the giant. And I think from what glimpses we've seen so far, it would be out of we have a formidable other world of giants who would obviously be a huge threat to us. In every way. So it would be out of desire to protect yourself from the threat of that.
Exactly. I mean, that's why in the real world, every nation calls not every nation, but most nations call their military a defense force.
Yeah.
Even though the most efficient form of defense is to attack. Destroy the other people.
Right.
Yeah, but in Kaiju Valentine, we see that. We're seeing why are there these fighter things? Why are there these why does we inspire agency? Why? There is obviously some kind of military stuff that we're not privy to hidden under the surface, and I like that.
Yeah, there's a lot we haven't seen.
Yeah.
But you're right. That's the kind of male-female kind of dynamic as well, because you've got the massive big people and you got the tiny little bit. They have to have different ways of attacking and different ways of defending. So the little people would have to have cleverer ways around it, whereas the big people could just crush.
Yeah, the big people have to megaphones. We'll get
and hammers.
Another motivator to take over the world. A leader think is corrupt people. Remember the movie Sleep? If there's an evil leader, you want to take down. That's your motivation for wanting to quote take over the world or the country or whatever.
Like Hunger Games or something.
Sleep. That's how. Yeah, probably. Which I also haven't seen. But yeah. Bring down, just take over. It's not main characters who want to.
Snowpiercer is another one where they have that similar thing. I haven't seen that, but I know what it's about. But yeah, it's a Sleeper, Snowpiercer, something like the leadership is corrupt. You want to destroy it and become the new boss. But like we were saying before, you don't necessarily have any any plan. You're just gonna become the new boss and take on the same structure of leadership as the old boss did. Oh my god!
Yeah,
I mean,
they have that little bit of dialogue at the end of sleep, where like, well, you think this guy's gonna be better? He gets power. They're all terrible. Once he gets there, he'll be bad.
Exactly. Goodbye, Stalin. Hello, Khrushchev, or something like that. I don't know. Maybe Khrushchev didn't take over Stalin. I've got no idea. I just know those are two prominent Soviet leaders.
I think maybe the most interesting thing if we do see a power is I mean, if they're the villain, we don't necessarily know that. But it's these deep kind of psychological drivers. Chance was talking about their fragility. I think on a person feels fragile. They feel like lacking in some way, and it's like some kind of pain you need to ease or a need you need to fill. And then if you have other qualities that allow you to achieve things, achieve power, then you're filling that need. You're just filling this unconscious need. And the same goes for people who follow. They're filling some kind of need that serves them in some way, not just physically, but in some kind of mental way, deep way, the way they're being filled by behaving a way, getting something.
That's true. Yeah, because if
people up,
like, I don't know. Yeah, in the followers have more complex motivation than the leaders in some way. Because with the followers, not only sometimes everybody wants to rule the world, like the famous song by Tears for Fears, but they're quite happy to have someone else in power. And they subsume their own need to be the leader by associating themselves with that leader and imagining that they're on the same page. And oh my god.
Yeah. Because often they live vicariously through that leader.
He becomes their avatar.
Yeah. Very much.
So they get a vicarious rush of power.
Exactly. Yeah. We showed you. I'll go back. I go back to my menial job minds. But
I'll get back to sweeping up, these cigarette butts and stuff. But I'm in charge of you, fancy pants.
Exactly. And you know that is a hell of a drag. That if you give people a sense that I am superior to that other guy that is inferior in some way, that is something that can compensate for a lot of other abuses that people are willing to endure just to hold on to that very that nothing that is I'm superior to this other guy. I am having a horrible life. I work myself to the bone, and my kids have no health care, and I don't know how to sign my name, so I write X on the line. I know that they read the contract to me and exactly what I told me, blah blah. But I sure am superior to this other guy conquered with the money that I made.
Exactly. Or our group is superior to them, and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. And that is pathetic. Honestly.
That's heavy stuff. I mean, when I brought it up, I was thinking of their conquerors, lieutenants. You're right. It's way down the line. Like everybody, not getting anything tangible. That's wild.
When we were at the height of activism here in Greece, standing up to the whole dismantling of our state.
We got less than a minute to go.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, the janitors of some of the public buildings that were endorsing this dismantling were looking down on us as, we are part of the ruling class. Which was
That's
so,
exactly what happens.
yeah.
Well, everybody, we'll have to wrap it up now. Goodbye to the old boss, say hello to the new boss, basically. That's
Same as all the bosses. Bye.
Exactly. Goodbye, people. Bye-bye. Everybody wants to.